Hi everybody, this is Chet here from Avion Technology in the Chicagoland area. Who are we? We are Avion Technology. We are an agency that works for other agencies. What do? We help small agencies scale up. What's their size? 250,000 to 500,000. What do? We become their programming wingman so the agency owners can concentrate on growing their business versus managing projects and deliveries. I got that out in like what? 1 minute. Amazing. So what am I going to talk about today? I am going to talk about being undercapitalized, right? Again, part of what we do, talk to a lot of small business owners, but here I'm talking especially about small agencies, 250,000 to 500,000, half a million. Most of them are undercapitalized. What is undercapitalized? Undercapitalized means that they do not have enough in the bank for a rainy day or for growth. So, for example, this is something that I struggled with. So, when I was growing my business, no one knew exactly what being undercapitalized was. No one even told me that there's such a thing as being undercapitalized, not even my CPA. But even when I found out that I was undercapitalized, no one knew exactly what being undercapitalized was. So I'm going to talk about two very specific numbers, three. But before I get into that, I want to show you, if you have an agency or for that matter any services business, I'm going to show you what your flight path is going to be like. This is how most services businesses are. In the first 5-10 years, you'll usually have a meteoric rise and then you'll plateau out, right? That's usually how it is. And typically around year 20, between year 21 and year 28, you'll actually sell the company and go and do something else, right? If not earlier, but mostly between those years. Now, one of the things with this kind of growth versus a product company is that for a product company, it's usually hockey stick, right? It's virality. It's about, you're here and then you're suddenly like, boom. That's when you need a lot of capital, right? That's when you need VCs, that's when you need private equity, that's when you need Series A, Series B, Series C, right? You do not need it for a services company. So what do you need for a services company? You need 6 months of operating cash, right? Tattoo that somewhere on your body, right? You need 6 months of operating cash. Why 6 months, right? Because I have usually seen that most recessions usually tend to last about 6 months, right? So when you do hit that down patch, when you have 20-25% cancellations in terms of work orders, you have clients who are on retainers who don't renew their retainer, you can last it out, right? But I always recommend that you have 2 months in debt, so that's your line of credit. So you have 6 months of cash and 2 months in debt. What is the 6 months of cash really gonna do for you, right? Because you're probably not gonna end up using this. You probably have that invested in some savings account or some like CD or something like that. It's going to give you peace of mind, right? It's going to make sure that you sleep well at night, knowing that if something does happen, you probably get through it. Then there's one more number that I want you to remember. It's 15%, right? You have to be operating at a 15% operating margin at the minimum, right? If you go lower than that, there's some process inefficiencies or you're taking on work at a really discounted price, right? Because what's going to happen is that if you're not operating at 15%, you're not taking out cash from the business, and if you're not taking out cash from the business, you're never going to get here, right? So make sure you're operating at 15% at the very least. I still feel personally that services business is the best way, right? That a person can become a multi-millionaire in this lifetime without taking on a lot of risks. The problem with a product startup is that it's a high risk game. The chance of the product startup succeeding and you becoming a multi-millionaire is like 0.5. But for this, the chances are really high, right? It's not very easy, it's hard, but it's predictable, right? It's one foot in front of the other. And if you continue to do that, if you continue to struggle, if you continue to put in the hours, you will become a multi-millionaire after like 20-30 years in business. So please keep that in mind. My goal is to make sure that you do end up at between the 21 to 28 year mark. When you decide to sell your business, you look back and you say this was all worth it, and then go to Florida and buy a couple of rental properties and sit on a beach with a Mai Tai, or maybe go to your second venture, or give money to a college, your alma mater, do what you want to do. But in order to get there, make sure that one financial recession or one lawsuit or something like that does not wipe you out, or one major client putting you out of business. Because there's a pattern, right, to most small businesses. And usually, between 30 to 50% of their income comes from one account, usually, right? And if that account goes, then you go back in time almost, and you got to start from scratch. And that is okay in this scenario. But if you do not have this, then one bad quarter, one recession, one big client, not continuing their contract can actually put you out of business and wipe away 10, 15, 20 years worth of hard work. So keep these numbers in mind. Again, like I said, none of this is financial or legal advice. Most of these conversations are just to kind of get you kind of thinking about this. If you want to think any further, talk to your CPA, talk to your financial planner. They'll be able to give you much better advice than I do. But just keep these numbers in mind and make sure that you work with this. I hope that I see you in Florida 10 years from now with a Mai Tai, and you tell me that you've sold your business and now you're doing something else, something that you love. Thank you so much. This is Chet here from Avion Technology. I hope you guys, it's Friday today, so I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, do fun stuff, and I'll see you on the other side. Take care. Bye.